It's Tuesday and it's time for Falcon Focus. Welcome to this week's edition of Falcon Focus, about the only thing that's on the athletic calendar that is not impacted this week by weather, as we get ready for episode number 22 here in season number 3, our 10th episode here in semester number 2. You're a two-timer now.
Two-timer,
here
yeah,
on
wow.
Falcon Focus. My name is Matt Menzel, being joined by Aaron Seekman, the Director of Human Performance. And in segment number 2, we'll be talking with the Director of Sports Medicine, Angie Stefan, the A-Team, the Aaron and Angie show here on Falcon Focus. And to refresh your memory, you were on this show November 3rd of 2020. For those that may not have seen that episode or may not recall, what does the Director of Human Performance title entail?
Man, we've come a long way. That was literally, I think that was my third month on the job, I think. And we were in the middle of the pandemic and everything. No one really knew what was going on. As far as my job now is totally different than what it was then.
No kidding.
Well, now, not having as many restrictions and stuff, we can have more athletes in the weight room, can have more teams. So I'm doing a lot more team training now instead of having to do so many small groups throughout the day, which is nice and hard at the same time. But my job entails strength conditioning, right? The lifting aspect of athlete development, speed, agility conditioning, energy system development, talking about recovery, sleep, nutrition, literally everything that I can do to develop these athletes to make them better, prepare them for the college game, right? And it's a big transition. I mean, you can ask any college athlete. Transition from high school to college is, as much as it is mental, it's physical, right? Everyone you're going up against here, freshmen walking in the door, 18, 19? They're going up against 22, 23-year-old senior grown men, So as much as you want to be a freshman that starts and plays, that's awesome, but you got to remember you're going up against somebody that's been doing this a lot longer than you and has put the time in. So what I'm really trying to do is develop these athletes from the time they get here. So by the time they're in that 22, 23 senior role, they're able to do what happened to them freshman year by grown men or grown ladies, women, whatever sport you're looking at, the longer you get developed, the longer you can work out and train, the better it's going to be as your career goes.
Are you seeing, maybe not necessarily the same title, Director of Human Performance, but are you seeing more and more schools this position pop up across the country?
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows the Division I level. Everyone's got, 5 strength coaches on staff and then a handful of assistants, graduate assistants. D2 is getting to the point now where they're having a head strength coach and assistant strength coach, a couple GAs. The big market right now, NCAA-wise, is the D3 level. A lot of it's the funding and backing from athletics and support. But once you can overcome that and see that the benefit is there, a lot of D3s are going with a head strength coach and potentially an assistant, a GA for sure, maybe 2, and then just trying to get an army of interns to help handle the load. I know here, one of the largest athletic departments in the nation. So, we have a lot of teams that we roll through our facility. So, the more help, more hands on deck we can get, the better it is for us.
Now, for those that watch Falcon Focus, they may often see in the background, besides this guy shooting hoops, they see this guy. You have a number of athletes working out behind us. What takes place on at least Tuesday mornings behind us? What are fans seeing in the background?
Yeah, so you'll get a glimpse of it today after we're done here. You're going to go jump right on the court and start coaching. During our chapel break, I've implemented speed school. So it's a lot of it's for athletes that are in season, out of season, that are available. We just kind of do some speed mechanics, change of direction mechanics, work on acceleration, deceleration, change of direction, just some basic, simple stuff that we can use to help them be better at their sport. When I first got here, the biggest thing that I want to do is really focus on the mechanics of running, because I saw a lot of mechanical breakdowns across the board with a lot of athletes, just from not knowing proper positions or how to decelerate, how to accelerate. So just trying to clean all that up, and it'll translate to keeping them healthy, keeping them strong. In my profession, along with Angie, I'm sure she'll talk about it, the athlete's greatest attribute is availability. If they're available to play, that's the most beneficial thing. If they're hurt or they can't compete, it does the coach, the sport coach no good if their player can't be available. So my biggest thing is I'm trying to teach a lot of this stuff now on the back end. So when we get to the front end in the sports, in the competitions, they're going to put themselves in better position to prevent injury or reduce their chance.
Is there a new wave, a new energy about human performance, maybe in the last 5 years? Because it seems like, at least when we were students here, yeah, you knew about it, but it didn't have the kind of promotion it has now, where you hear all about staying, physically, in shape, what you eat, what you put in your body. Like, so much of that's being promoted more now than maybe it was 10 years ago.
Right. It's one of the hottest growing professions in college athletics. I mean, you got to remember the profession is very young. The first strength coach, Boyd Epley at Nebraska, didn't start until 1970. I think, something like that. Don't quote me on that. But
we're fact checking now.
Yeah, running the Googler.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, he was the first. He was the first official college strength coach at Nebraska, and then it kind of snowballed from there. Everyone was like, well, they saw how they were more developed, physically conditioned, and they kind of looked into that and then slowly started adding more strength coaches. But within the last 10 years is when this profession, strength conditioning, human performance, has really taken off, has really been implemented more across the board nationally, not just here, but like international, professional teams, international colleges, professional teams, even semi-pro teams now are getting strength coaches. And high schools are going that route. I just saw a posting for the Aurora public schools are looking for a strength coach for every one of their public high schools.
Wait, are you thinking about leaving us?
No.
Okay,
I'm
just making sure.
No.
On those
Can't
job
leave,
boards.
Can't leave home. No, it was just one of those things. I was in a strength coach discussion, and they posted a thing said the new industry, the hot industry now for strength conditioning is high school. Well, now makes my job easier, right? If all these high school kids can come in now with a background, they have the technique, they have the training, it's easier for them to jump into a college setting, because a lot of the high athletes, in high school have their football coach or their track coach doing their workouts, and they're in PE class, right? And they just write it up on the board. So there's no really rhyme or reason sometimes. They just, hey, I'm lifting. And then they get to here, in any college with a structured plan, periodization, and it's organized, it's laid out, and how to go through a workout and actually, see the different aspects of it is kind of eye-opening for a lot of these athletes. And it really that's what really helps their development, is they can actually be structured and organized. They see a lot of those results right away because it's just new. The neural adaptation is through the roof right off the bat. And then obviously as you go and they get older, sophomores, juniors, seniors, we got to start programming and advancing our exercises, just because what they did freshman year is going to work, but now they're more advanced, right? So we just got to up our level, which is fun because it keeps me on my toes.
How about for you, in your opinion, since you played, how has the student athlete changed? And you often hear they're bigger, they're faster. But it is a different, when you look at the competition level from where it was 10, 15 years ago,
for sure.
It's certainly evolving.
Oh, it's night and day. You always had back in the day, hate saying it, but back, early 2000s, when I was playing, you had your big guys, you had your fast guys. Now it's a big and fast guy. It's a combination. I don't know where they're growing these athletes these days, or they just have great genetics, or their parents are both great athletes. But now it's a combination of the size and the speed, and all sports across the board. Every sport we have is evolving, and the athletes are becoming faster. They're becoming bigger. They're becoming stronger, which makes the game more interesting. It's a faster game now. There's more points, there's more collisions if you're talking, contact sports. There's more power coming off arms now in volleyball and in the arms in baseball and softball. There's more velocity through the hips now, so they're rotating faster. So they can, home runs are becoming a normal thing now.
Yeah.
Softball, baseball, everyone's hitting dingers. It's crazy. Lacrosse is able to throw the ball harder. It's just little things that translate to all sports, which is just taking athletics to the next level, right? But that's what, as a fan, that's what you want to see. You want to see the big stuff. You want to see the hard hits. That just comes from all the hours, up in the weight room, behind the scenes, developing you to become better at your sport. So when you step on that field, step on the court, everything that we've done in the weight room or in the speed and agility room or sessions translates, and you can apply it, right? That's the other biggest thing is I'm trying to do is hey, we're doing all this stuff. Now apply it to your sport, right? If you get stronger, you get faster, you have more rotational power. But if you don't know how to put it together and use the complete package, you're going to be left behind. So the biggest thing with our athletes now is taking everything that they've learned and developed and now putting it together in that sport, and then watching them just reap the benefits and succeed and win championships.
Now, from a workout standpoint, can you work out 7 straight days? Do you need that recovery time? How important is that recovery time?
I have a joke. The recovery muscle is the least trained muscle in athletics. Another saying I use is "Don't burn the steak." Like less is more, right? Like you can't. Like if think about it, if you like to grill, right? All you guys out there that like to grill or cook, if you burn the food, it's pretty much useless, right?
Forget it.
Where if you undercook it and you're like, oh, I don't like that, you can put it back on and reheat it and cook it a little bit more. So I try and slow cook everything here, like it's like we want to develop these athletes from their freshman year through their senior year. So I want to be slow and steady, make sure we're really good at the mechanics, really good at the movements, and then we can get better, right? We can't pack on strength and speed on a deficiency. I'm increasing your injury. And once again, what do we say? Availability, right? So our biggest thing is just making sure we can develop these athletes and slow cook them so that as we go through the year, we can add things and make them better. Be like, oh, hey, I don't like how that looks. Let's retool it. Let's recook it, right? Let's make it a little bit better. So
I'm enjoying the food references, I'll tell you.
I'm kind of hungry now. I'm not going to lie to you.
I don't know why in my mind I see the hot dogs, like the slow.
The rolling over.
Yeah, I don't know why. That's a great. What's going through my mind.
I mean, that's a great analogy. Like if you think about that, like they're slowly getting cooked, so they're not burnt. Right?
Yeah,
You're not going. Who's going to buy a burnt hot dog?
Well, Dinkelman might.
Well, that's a different story.
It's probably cheap. I mean, he's
That's on another episode of Falcon Focus.
Next time. For you, where did your passion for human performance come from?
It just started with coaching. Playing here, working out, doing all that, going on to the next level, playing some semi-pro, being a strength coach in the private sector, just seeing how you can impact lives of athletes across the board, whether it's just a specific sport. Like when I first started coaching, I was just coaching high school football, right? So it's good to just coach those kids and develop those high school kids and then helping out in their weight room. And I was like, man, I really like the lifting aspect. Like there's so much you can do. And instead of just saying, okay, here's your route, go do this, here's your technique, breakdown, block, like this, that, and the other. But in a weight room, you get to interact with multiple athletes, multiple sports, multiple age groups. So that's kind of like, I just kind of saw that was something I really enjoyed. Like I like coaching, I like being involved. I like developing relationships, help building cultures, creating a sense of accountability and discipline. Like strength and conditioning, as much as it's develop athletes, it's building qualities that'll carry with them over. Like, hey, if you're late to a workout, there's a discipline. Like, you don't just show up late to work and expect nothing to happen. So like that's the biggest thing is creating a culture where it's fun. We encourage accountability. We encourage hard work. We like getting after it. I mean, you've been upstairs, loud music, people sweating, they're running around, yelling and screaming. I mean, that's a college weight room. That's essentially what you look at. If you looked at every college weight room in America, that's what you see. And so just kind of developing that and saying like, hey, it's okay to work hard. It's okay to yell at somebody if they're not doing the right things. Like as long as they know it's coming from a place of compassion and like, I'm doing this because I want you to be better. Our team standards are higher than this. We can't allow this effort, right? And that's just going to trickle down effect. And then hopefully that just, takes over every team and there's a great culture, there's accountability, there's discipline. And then, I mean, the next logical step is championships. Like once you can do all that and you win games and consistently do that, you're going to compete for championships. And that's my goal. I mean, that's every athlete's goal. It's every coach's goal, right? So if I can play a small role, that's all I care about.
Often, I was going to say,
yeah. Long-winded, sorry.
No, that was good. Often, when you come to a home sporting event, you're there. I mean, whether it be up in the John Book Fieldhouse mezzanine or on the sideline, your little ones are running around. Yeah. How rewarding is it for you, when you look down, at the field of competition, you see the athletes that you work with or that are, putting the work in, seeing some of that work pay off?
Yeah, it's good. I have it. I mean, the kids love it, first off, because they get to run around and see all the different sports. So, they're getting to see all the different athletes and stuff. And they build relationships, and the athletes like seeing the kids. So that's a lot of fun for them. For me, it's great to see all the hard work and just knowing, like, on a daily basis, like, seeing all these athletes coming to them, like, seeing what they do on a day in and day out basis, and then going out there and seeing them perform and do well. Part of my job is to be the support system, right? So I got to show face. I got to show up. I just got to let them know I support them, and I love watching what they do and love watching them compete. But also, in my mind, I'm watching the game saying, oh, that was bad. Like, we need to work on that, or we need to work on this. Like, I'm very I'm analyzing everything as they're moving. They might not know it. I'm looking at how they change direction. I'm looking how we accelerate. I'm looking how we stop. I'm looking how we get contact with athletes in certain sports, or how we can break away or close space. So I'm watching the game, yes, but at the same time, I'm analyzing what we can do to become better, or what areas, like, hey, lacrosse needs to work on this, or hey, our volleyball team needs to work on this. Like, so I can put that together and say, okay, next time we do our speed school, hey, come here, let's do this. This is what I saw in the game. Like, let's reevaluate and really work on some of this stuff so we can become better. But that's just going to, once again, we do that, we retool, we recook, and now we're better off. So
how tough is it for you? I know you're on the sideline a lot for football, to not be out there catching a pass or two from James Litt. I mean, you look like you still,
I'd love to be out there.
A couple of catches, a couple of touchdowns.
I'd love to be out there. I get my, pregame, I get to throw some passes and catch some balls. So I get to relive, I get the jitters. I get a little antsy. It'd be a lot of fun, once again, to just be out there and compete. Just being able to compete with like your teammates, whatever sport, is just, it's a different feeling. It's something that you take for granted. All you athletes out there listening, like, you enjoy the moment. You love what you're doing, and you're taking it for granted, because when it's gone, it's gone. And then you look back, and all you have is the memories and the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. Like me looking back, it's like, man, I wish we could have beat Valpo. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like you wish you could have won a conference championship here, or you wish this didn't happen, or you wish you could have done a little bit more in your preparation. So just take advantage of the moment. Live in the now. Like, what you're doing is going to develop you and take with you once you graduate. And when it's gone, you're going to sit there and be like, I miss the bus rides. I miss the early morning workouts. Like, I miss team dinners. I miss team meals.
Sure.
Like, you're going to miss all that. So, like, don't take it for granted, and I'll relish in that opportunity, and just get to know your teammates and get to know the other athletes. There's 700 on this campus. Like, there's a lot of interesting people on all the teams. And if you just get a chance to talk to them, you're going to find something out you didn't know. And maybe it helps you develop relationships.
Try to do that here with Falcon Focus.
Hey, I love it. We've had
MMA, fighters, we've had boxers, we've had gold belt, yellow belt, martial art people. I mean, we've had many different backgrounds that you would never know unless you just ask.
Exactly. And that's kind of my thing, is I like to build it, like, getting to know these athletes and talking to them and finding out, like, there's a world champion skier on campus, like water ski and ice skate. It's like
speed skater too. It's incredible.
Like, people are so talented behind their sport, like, you wouldn't know if you don't ask. And it's just a lot of fun, because you're like, and then you get to ask them, hey, how's that going? Like, how's your karate? How's your jiu-jitsu? Like, you get to, and then that's another way to build a relationship and build trust. And the biggest thing is, like I said, going back to upstairs, like, you want them to trust you. As a coach, you need that trust. You need that relationship. So when you say, hey, I need you to do this exercise, and I'm like, well, why? I don't need to do that. I need you to do that exercise because it's going to do this, this, and this. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. Oh, I had more weight.
I'm going to ask Angie this question, too, when she's on our next segment. But did you ever envision when you left Concordia you'd ever be back
Not
here
in a million
capacity?
years. Not in a million years. Not in a million years.
I'm
honest. I'll be honest.
You had a couple other stops along the way.
I'll be honest. I never thought I'd be back, just because.
Once you graduate, kind of.
I was like, I'm going to start doing my thing, and I branched out. I wanted to make a name for myself in this profession, because it's such a big profession, and there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities, right? Professional through high school now. So I was like, I don't know where it's going to take me. I'm just going to work and do my best, and go from there. And then, when I got the call from Coach Barnhill, I was like, no chance, man. Like, there's no way I'm coming back. Like, you already have your position's taken. And then we got talking into it and everything, and I was like, seriously? Like, okay. Then he planted the seed, and then it started growing, and I was like, oh, dang, well, okay. This might be the move. So here we are.
Yeah.
You can't never say never, I guess, right? Like, you never know.
With that being said, your favorite aspects of this job, what's the most challenging parts of this job?
Short answer, long answer. What we got time for, Ding? How we doing?
I don't know. Your class is ready for you.
Yeah. We got a little bit. The hardest part is honestly just trying to coordinate schedules to get athletes in the weight room. Like, I mean, it's what it is. Like, as much as I want to have 700 athletes in there, on a weekly basis, they're students. They got classes. The workload here is crazy. And then you throw on practices, you throw on lifting, you throw on speed school. Like, it's a lot. So the biggest thing is the hardest part for me is just trying to coordinate the schedules to get teams in. as much as they come in small group and work out on their own, that's great. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, at least they're in there. I can't complain. I just like doing the team setting. I like having 30 people, 25, a whole team in there working out together. That just builds the accountability. That builds the trust. When you're sweating next to a teammate in the weight room, like you get to see different aspects of them that you don't see on a football field or on a volleyball court or on a soccer field or basketball court. Like, it's different working with somebody in a weight room than it is in their sport, right? You can push somebody differently. You can coach somebody differently. But we all have the same goal. We want to just develop, become better. And the more you can compete with each other, the better you're going to be. So the scheduling is probably the hardest part, being able to fit all those people into our gym on a daily basis. And not to mention, we got to compete with the students, faculty, everyone else is just trying to get a workout in, which is awesome. I feel bad, like, you're just packed in there sometimes and people are just trying to come in there and get a workout. And it's like, there's no place to go. I'm sorry. But, it's fun, though. I wouldn't change a thing. It's a lot of fun. Keeps me on my toes. We have a good time.
Let's wrap it up. It's hard to believe as we sit here because it snowed yesterday, but summer is around the corner, if you will, and the school year is quickly wrapping up. What does summer look like for you? Do you get an off season, or is there still kind of an off season or summer workout program?
To me, in the strength conditioning world, the summer is the biggest time for every athlete. So listen up. You are officially an athlete and not a student during the summer, right? So you don't have to worry about classes. Granted, you might have to take a summer class here or there. You might have to work, but you can at least carve out an hour and a half of your day to dedicate yourself to becoming better in your sport. So, like, the summer is the biggest time for every athlete to get stronger, get faster, get more conditioned. Take your nutrition a priority, right? Recover. Do everything to prepare yourself for the season, because once you step foot on campus, whatever sport you play, once you step foot on campus in August, it's go time. Like, everybody's got a off or in season, spring season, right? Fall, you got spring seasons or fall seasons for all the other winter sports. So you step foot on campus, you got to start going to school. You got practices, you got workouts. Like, it shows the time you put in the off season, in the summer, really shows when you step foot on campus and you see how you compare with the guys or girls on your team that did the stuff. And like, wow, I'm behind. Well, they put the work in, and you put the work in, you reap the benefits. It's
an hour and
simple.
a half really isn't that.
It's
time in
it
the whole
doesn't
scheme
even
of things.
exactly. It doesn't even need to be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It could be an hour. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Like, I have a program that's set up. You can get in and out in an hour. You can, if you warm up a little bit longer, stretch after. Like, it'll take you a little bit longer for sure, but like, you can get in and get out, do everything you need to do in a manageable amount of time, so you don't waste. You're not just in there sitting on your phone and talking to your friends and watching TikTok. Like, get in, get out, and then you can do all that when you get wherever you need to be.
Well, with that said, you got to be over there. So, Aaron, I appreciate your time as always.
Yeah, no
all
problem.
the best, and we'll do it again soon, I'm sure. And
I hope so. We didn't talk football. It's crazy.
Well, we'll get there.
Okay, fair.
We kind of did in a roundabout way.
Yeah, you're right.
The A team continues. We switch directions and focus with the Director of Sports Medicine with Angie Stefan. That and more as we continue on this week's edition of Falcon Focus.
Since 1978, Lutheran Church Extension Fund has had the humble privilege of supporting the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod in fulfilling its mission of sharing the gospel.
Thanks to our faithful investors, we provided thousands of church workers, congregations, schools, and organizations with the resources they need to reach more people with the saving name of Christ. It's what we do.
Because our greatest joy comes from seeing LCMS Ministries and her workers thrive, we will continue to make precious resources available, both today and far into the future. It's our promise to you.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund. We want to be part of your great and exciting work.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Falcon Focus, episode number 22. And as promised, Aaron Siekman has now moved back there, and you'll see him in a moment. He's got his class here as they work out and they get focused on, getting in tip-top shape for their respective sport. We now turn our attention to the Director of Sports Medicine, that being Angie Stefan, who has had quite the last couple of years. Let's start there. Just how crazy And it's almost been exactly 2 years, if it hasn't already. How crazy the last 2 years been for you?
Very.
Just chaotic?
Yeah. Just a lot of learning new things and making adjustments so that we can keep things moving here at Concordia. And
How have you stayed sane?
I haven't.
Have you taken a vacation? Have you had any time off in the last couple of years? Or is it constantly, you have to be on top of things that just time isn't allowed?
That's what June and July are for.
Well,
Vacation, golf, enjoying some sunshine that we.
waiting for desperately.
Yes.
Now between meetings, COVID tests, teams being in quarantine, what has been, I guess, the most stressful part of the past couple of years?
Definitely January through May of spring 21, when all you gotta tell Coach Seekman to get back to work. When all of our teams were competing simultaneously, because that was 750 student athletes in season. These guys know the schedule was insane. You just kind of felt like you were in Groundhog Day. So waking up, coming in the morning, testing a couple hundred student athletes every day of the week, and then just plowing through the day and practices, games, 7 days a week for what seemed like forever.
Was there pressure on you and your staff in the sense that it seemed like anytime something new developed, everybody turned to the athletic training staff going, hey, what does this mean? What do we have to do now? How do we stay in a position where we can compete?
Yes, but that's just kind of what we do. You figure it out so that we can keep competing, and that's the nature of athletic trainers is, you hear the word bandwidth, like, oh, they have bandwidth. We just can add little things to our responsibilities here and there, and you just kind of absorb it and keep moving.
Were you constantly reading and trying to keep up with ever-changing landscape of COVID?
Yes, very much so. The summer of 2020, as we were trying to figure out how to operate and how things were going to work. And then after that, it was just constant changes in literature and return to play guidelines. I mean, in the beginning of all of this, when we returned August 2020, every single student athlete that tested positive was getting an EKG before they could even return to sport. Our return to play protocol was anywhere from 4 to 7 days after somebody was released from isolation. So that was really stressful for us and for coaches, just to figure out how to make sure that that the student athletes were safe. And then as that fall rolled on, you kind of saw, okay, this isn't affecting student athletes as much as it is other populations. And then the cardiac guidelines changed at the end of that fall, which made things a lot easier for us. And then that theme just kept rolling and rolling, right? The requirements coming out of isolation were a lot less stringent. We were getting student athletes back on the field sooner. We were seeing a lot milder symptoms. So,
has your job, your personal job for your staff, has it changed a great deal in these last 2 years? The responsibilities, have they differed now, having gone through this pandemic?
Yeah. I mean, for a while, so much of everything we were doing was COVID related. And then obviously over the last, 6 months to a year, started to slowly move away from COVID and back to doing things the normal way, standing on a sideline without a mask and just enjoying victories.
So overall, when you kind of reflect back, and obviously things have gotten better when it comes to COVID, but COVID's still very much with us. It's just, kind of like the flu. It's going to be here. When you look back at 2 years, when you think about all that your staff has done in that time, what are you maybe most proud of when you factor all the hoops you guys jumped through just to, again, keep this campus open from an athletic standpoint, allowing teams to be able to compete?
You just said it. We were back on campus right away, August 2020. We didn't have a lot of competitions until, January of that academic year. But we had athletes on the court, on the field, doing team training. And there are so many schools across the nation, especially at the Division III level, that weren't doing that. So that's what I'm most proud of, is that we were here, we were open, we were face-to-face the entire time. And our athletes were competing.
And look, we're doing this show without a mask. That wasn't the case a year ago. We'd be masked up right now doing, and we wouldn't be able. You'd be way over there somewhere in a different county. But testing your memory a little bit now as we get to know Angie a little bit and her role as director of sports medicine. For those that may or may not know, you were a student here, a student athlete here at Concordia as a softball pitcher. But you started off at UW Green Bay. How did you eventually end up here on the Mequon campus?
Wanted to play. So that wasn't going to happen for me at the Division I level. I had some high school teammates and good friends that were here. Obviously, this is close to home for me, so came back, did a visit, met with Coach Crook and Rince and Sarah Renicky, and then it was easy.
It was a North Shore Conference All-Star team, essentially,
like
for a while.
11, I think, yeah.
You played softball, as mentioned, for the Falcons. Your memories of that time on the diamond?
Everything.
Any games or any particular trips that stand out among the rest?
Obviously, being the first team to qualify for the NCAA tournament was pretty special. So that was a really fun trip.
With Iowa?
The games weren't fun, but the rest of the trip
got to go to, I
was
think
fun.
it was Indianola, Iowa, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, St. Thomas's home runs were landing on the field we warmed up on. So they were ranked number 1 in the nation.
For a reason.
But it was fun. You were there.
Well, and you helped, after you were done playing, you helped coach a little bit with the softball team. You helped Steve Crook. And did you ever at some point envision that maybe you could potentially go the coaching route, or is that just something to do in between?
No, absolutely. It just didn't work out that way. I think I coached with him for 6 years, and then
was it really 6 years?
It was.
No kidding.
Yeah, and then started a family, and obviously taking over as head athletic trainer, just a lot to juggle. So,
as mentioned, you've gone the athletic training route. Why athletic training?
That goes back to the visit on campus, the semester between Green Bay and here. Met with Russ DeLapp, and that was it.
Fell in love with it? Automatic?
I've always enjoyed sciences, and obviously always enjoyed athletics. You put those two together, I feel like I kind of have a dream job.
When you look at athletic training on this campus, and even back then, even now, this program here at Concordia is among the who's who, not only in the state, but I would say nationally. I mean, it's among the who's who, and you see so many, students come here specifically for the athletic training program. In your opinion, what makes this athletic training program among the who's who?
We are just really blessed. I think the support from the senior administration, down through athletics. We have one of the biggest staffs in Division III in the country. So I think that's a really prideful component of our athletic department, something to highlight when recruits are on campus, that we have a large staff and we really care about our student athletes. And we're not just, here from 8 to 5 when they may be here. We're on the field with them, home, away.
Yeah.
Spring break trips, 10-day trips. They go to Hawaii. Sometimes I volunteer for those trips.
I would too. I asked Aaron the same question. I'll ask you. So you got your degree here at Concordia. You graduated. Did you ever envision that you would get that first opportunity right back here at your alma mater?
No.
You think you'd still be here?
I think about anything a week in
you
advance.
Take it one day at a time.
They were adding the men's and women's hockey programs as I was graduating. So that was so there was a need for an additional staff member, and thanks to Russ,
here you are.
Here I am.
Well, then all of a sudden, move ahead to 2011, and you become the head athletic trainer. Now you're director of sports medicine. Let's start there. And what does that job title mean? Where to begin?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just all things athletic healthcare administrator. Obviously overseeing, our department and our staff, but just everything health and wellness for 700 student athletes. So keeping up with NCAA legislation, department needs, patient care. It's,
what's your
COVID testing.
Well, yeah, a lot of that.
You name it, it gets thrown in there. So.
Your favorite part of the job?
Winning.
Yeah. What's the most challenging part of the job?
Long hours, 10 months of the year.
Would that also be your least favorite part of it, as far as just the hours? Because like you said, it's not a 8 to 4, 9 to 5 type job. It's all year and in weekends and
Nights and weekends, but
look at the
that
spring.
part being the least favorite is also what I enjoy because
Okay.
it's not monotonous. So it's tough, especially once you start a family and you start missing things, soccer games. But it's also what I enjoy because it's not monotonous.
Like I say, you look at the spring too, and it's like you have to be on your toes because every day the
Yeah.
schedule's changing. Thank you, Mother Nature.
Yeah, it's different every day, but
I have to ask you though, you were named the 2021 William C. Ackman Award winner, which I got to make sure I read this correctly. It's an honor given annually to the professional staff member within the Division of Student Life who has attained excellence as a service provider and who has exhibited a spirit of commitment and dedication to students of the university. What does that mean to you to receive that honor?
obviously it means a lot. But I will tell you, I didn't do anything differently than any other athletic trainer on campus did, any other coach or administrator. We all worked our tails off for, the last 2 years to keep the university open, athletics operating. So I did nothing that no one else would have done.
And
I think it was just more visual because there's Angie in the lobby collecting samples again. And there's
you have a great staff, and we know that, and I don't think you guys get enough credit, but certainly all the time and hours you put in to, again, keep this university functioning, this athletic department functioning. Obviously, staff will come and go, but it seems like every time somebody leaves, you fill that void with another quality person. What do you look for when you have to fill spots, when there are changes, which is inevitable? What do you look for to keep this department what it is?
That's a great question. I don't know if you know this, but we've actually had 6 staff departures since last summer. Kind of a combination, I think, of COVID burnout, people starting families or having young families and just looking for different, settings and more traditional 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. But this last year has been unlike any year I've ever seen. Other colleges are seeing it. There's a lot of institutions that are short-staffed. So we just went through a search process and interviewed a lot of candidates, and some asked the same questions. And my answer is always, obviously, someone that's a proficient clinician and assertive and is going to, number one job, service our student athletes and do it well. But also someone that truly enjoys their job, is going to walk in and have a smile every day. That it loves game day and gets hyped up for that, because you can be a great athletic trainer, but if you don't walk in every day and kind of be the light in everyone's day, especially the last 2 years when there wasn't a lot of light, then you're going to get burned out quickly. So someone that, like I say, I bleed blue, right? I'm a Falcon for life. Someone that, whether you have a background here or not, can come in and kind of turn into one of those people. So
if I would have asked you that question back in 2011, would you have given me the same answer, or is that something that you just, you start looking for different, qualities in people as you gain more experience?
I think you do, but no, I would have had the same answer in 2011.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're bleeding blue,
someone
too.
that can walk in the door and have a smile on their face every day.
Yeah, that's good answer. Wrap it up with summer. As far as athletic training goes, what does summertime look like for your department? Do you guys get an off season? Do you get to kind of recoup a little bit, or is it always planning ahead for the next school year?
Does HR watch these?
Well, maybe not this part.
No, a little bit of both. Obviously,
Does HR watch these?
It's our reset. So a lot of kind of debriefing coming off an academic year and preparing for the year ahead. This summer is going to be very busy, orienting 5 new employees, but also resetting. So yeah, the days are not 12-hour days.
No.
Probably won't be here 5 days a week in summer. Sometimes might sneak out a little early for 9 or 18. But no, we work hard all summer and get the job done, but we certainly come back August 1 refreshed. So.
Well, as always, Angie, thanks a lot for your time. Continued success, and we'll do it again soon.
Thank you.
That's Angie Stefan, the Director of Sports Medicine. Thanks to Aaron Siekman. Thanks to Clara Chambers and Josh Tinkelman behind the scenes. And thank you for watching this week's edition of Falcon Focus. We'll do it again next week right here on CUWFalcons.com.